perceptions on a brain level come from electrical firing and electrical processing of frequency information. That's how thoughts manifest at the brain level. And anything that can impact on that is going to impact on thought, which is impacting on perception, which impacts upon behavior, which impacts upon the life experience we all have. This whole conspiracy is a conspiracy of manipulating human perception so they control human behavior. And that's why mavericks, they're so terrified of mavericks, because they can't manipulate them to respond perceptually in the way that they need them to. For me, we have to reassess the nature of self and the experience we're having. Because if you perceive yourself through a series of labels, what I call IMRs, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a black, I am white, I am this, I am the other, I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, all the rest of it, then you are operating not as the true I, you're operating as the misinterpretation of the true I as the experiences you're having. Being white, being black, being Irish, being whatever, is an experience. It's not who you are. Who you are is the consciousness having that experience. And that consciousness is eternal and will at some point withdraw from this body, which is nothing more than a focus of attention for that consciousness in a tiny band of frequencies called visible light. And you will continue your exploration of forever. And if you focus only on your labels, and you self-identify only with your labels, then the world looks a certain way and consequences for actions look a certain way. But if you self-identify with being a point of attention within an infinite state of consciousness, and your point of attention could be the size of a pea or infinity itself, just how much you're going to allow in, then you see the whole thing in a different way. I mean, this is where I'm coming from. I don't see my life as a life. I see it just as a short experience. And thus, I existed before and I will exist afterwards as consciousness in its different forms. So in that sense, I don't see consequences like people in label consciousness see consequences. I look at the situation and I say, I'm going to do what I know to be right. I'm going to say what I know to be right. I mean, I could have shut my mouth and edited myself and censored myself, but what's the bloody point? No point whatsoever. You speak your truth and the consequences take care of themselves. And they can have benefits that you never thought possible when something apparently negative happened. But you speak your truth. You live your truth, and the consequences take care of themselves because they don't matter to you in the sense that you're an infinite expression of consciousness. You'll be leaving this body and carrying on, and you came in and you go out and you explore forever. So what happens in terms of consequences, suddenly they don't matter to you. What matters to you is speaking your truth and living your truth. And that has a power. It has a frequency that is much more powerful than lies and mendacity, which is the frequency that this cult works on. That's why they're terrified of people who are not intimidated by them. It gives you this tremendous freedom where you are you. You're not censoring you. You're not editing you. You're just being you. And you're not allowing external influences to impact upon your speaking and living your truth. Because the biggest prison that people live in is this question: what are the consequences for me of doing what I know to be right? And once you ask that question, then the consequences will invariably stop you doing it. But when you open your heart, you're opening to innate intelligence, expanded consciousness, all these things, knowing rather than thinking. And when you do that, there's no way that the heart will say, what are the consequences of doing what I know to be right? It just does it. It just does it. And what happens, happens. And what people will find, and what I've found, is that when you do that, the consequences that you may otherwise have perceived happening don't happen. Or if they do happen, they lead to something very positive that wouldn't have happened without the consequences.
You know, life is an emotional mirror. It really is. And a lot of people ask me how I'm able to do what I do and how I get away with doing what I do and how I've been able to do it for so long and how I'm able to just kind of bounce around the place the way I do with no real plans. And it's because it's an emotional mirror, folks. I mean, I have this saying that if you throw yourself to the wind, you can ride it. And it's true, you can. There's a language going on all the time. There's a language going on, an emotional language, the language of consciousness, the language of feeling and emotion. You're having a conversation, an energetic conversation with the universe around you, the surrounding field. Every moment of every day you're having this conversation, and it's an energetic mirror, and it will mirror back to you the emotional state that you're in. People who are in fear of being pulled up by the police very often get pulled up by the police. People who are always stressed out about being short of money always end up in a position where they have no money. Because it's a mirror. The universe will give you back the emotional energy that you're putting into it. This is one of the reasons I like to keep people in so much fear and tension and turmoil and what the chaos is all about. Because if people are in that emotional state, then that is what reality is going to mirror back to them. So their lives are going to stay chaotic. But you can reprogram yourself. You can reprogram the way you think. And a big part of it is understanding and realizing that this conversation is actually going on all the time. And you think about it, folks, when a couple's been fighting and you walk into a room and you think, wow, you can cut the air with a knife. It's because you can feel the residual energy in the room from the exchange the couple's been having. You can feel the energy they've been putting out of their bodies, the energy they've been releasing through their hearts. You know, your heart is simply an electromagnetic generator. That's what it does. You know, your heart is the power source of your body, not only because it pumps the blood around your body, but also because it creates the electromagnetic field that your body needs for you to exist. And this is the way it works. And when you really begin to look into it and look into it really deeply, you begin to realize that this electromagnetic field that your heart is generating, this energy, is in fact a language. And it's the language of feeling and emotion, the language of electromagnetism, and it is the main way that you are communicating with the energetic field around you. The problem is that many people simply don't know this conversation is going on. You know, many people don't take it into account, even when they're having trouble with their lives and they're trying to fix themselves up and get positive about something or create something good in their lives or create some direction for themselves or find something positive. They very often don't take into account the energetic conversation that they're having. You know, what is their deepest intentions in what they're doing? You know, is what they're doing, are they doing it for profit, for self-service, or, you know, what are they doing? What is your real motivation in why you do what you do? You know, if you're out there, if you're part of the truth community, part of the activist community, what's your real motivation in doing what you do? Are you doing it because you want to exalt yourself? Do you want to appear to the world as being some type of guru? Or do you generally just want freedom for the human condition? You know, are you doing it to better your own life and feather your own nest? Or are you doing it out of a service to all of creation? I mean, these may seem like insignificant questions, or to some they may seem like confronting questions, and some people may think I'm having a go at them, but I'm not. I'm just simply telling you the questions that I ask myself, because these are important questions to consider in everything that we do. You know, the concept of Dharma, finding your right place in the mesh, you know, so that all the wheels of creation all mesh together and you're walking on your perfect path so that life just unfolds before you. This is what Dharma is, and you do that. You achieve your path of Dharma by doing the right thing in the right way at the right time for the right reason, and always following the one law of creation, which is unconditional love and service to creation, which is not service to yourself at the expense of others, but it's not service to others at the expense of yourself. It's putting yourself on an even keel with everybody. You do this and you find your path of Dharma, and then you throw yourself to the wind and you can ride it.